Oh, is everybody with us? So should we just do some very quick introductions? I think there's probably too many people to do some introductions, but my name's Kerry Porter. I'm one of the Primary Care Workforce Programme Managers at Greater Manchester, and Monica Rope is here to help support facilitate as well, also part of the GM team. And our speaker today is Louise Thornton. So I'm going to hand over to Louise.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'm Louise Thornton. I'm clinical lead of the Salford and Trafford Greater Manchester Training Hub. So I'd like to just talk to you this afternoon about the two fantastic opportunities that we've got for practice nurses. So one is the General Practice Nurse Foundation Programme, and the other is the General Practice Nurse Fellowship Programme. So as you can see, it's the first slide that I've put up is just sort of basically says what I've said, and it's a way of we're wanting to support sort of recruitment and retention, and just ensure that nurses that are working in general practice feel that they've got a real career pathway. Next slide, Hayley, please. So just a little bit about both programmes. So the General Practice Nurse Foundation Programme. So in order to be able to apply for that programme, you have to be employed by a general practice in Greater Manchester. You have to be new to practice, so post 12 months qualification, or you need to be returning to practice. Sorry, apologies, I've left my window open behind me, so I do apologise. So the ask is, it's a programme of, the full programme is 18 months, and it's got two components. It's got a 25-week component of clinical modules. So that is where you will need to attend face-to-face training sessions 1 day a week after out of practice. Great news for the practices, they do get some salary support. So there's £73 per week for those for the 25 weeks. And what I'm talking about now is the course that's starting in September. We do have some cohorts running at the moment, but all the information on the slides is predominantly for the course that's starting in September. So, and then there's just a little bit about some of the key modules that's in the foundation first part of the programme. So you've got your chronic disease management, you've got your male and female health, you've got cytology, you've got immunisations. So just to give you a flavour of what's within those 25 weeks. And then just lastly, applications are open for those who qualify within the criteria to start in either April 2021, or we do have a cohort starting in April 2022. Next slide, Hayley, please. So again, it's just a little bit of information about the modules that are covered. So I think I've mentioned some of them, but you know, immunisation, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, respiratory, cytology, MSK, male health, female health, neurology and mental health, cancer screening. You also get the SSSA training, so that's a standard for student supervision and assessment, and a little bit of leadership is blended in throughout all those modules. Next slide, Hayley, please. And then moving on to the GPN Fellowship, which September will be our first cohort of fellowship students. So again, the eligibility, you need to be employed by a GM practice, and you have to be newly qualified within the last 12 months. So for newly qualified nurses, what an opportunity. And the programme is a 2-year programme, and you do get, again, back to practices for the full 2 years, you get a £73 salary support for the full 2 years. The beginning of the fellowship is the foundation course. So you also get all those clinical modules that are in the foundation course. So the first 6 months, you will be required to be 1 day out of practice. and you will join the other students that are on the foundation course for the delivery of those modules. And then from months 7 to 24, you're required to spend 1 session per week, and this can be flexible to fit in with the practice. And I think that's what we are, saying to practices. There may be an element of we may need to call you in for a particular session within months 7 to 24, but predominantly, it will be a lot of self-led work with us there to support you along the way. Next slide, Hayley, please. So the key modules that sit within the fellowship are, like I've said, access to the clinical skills on the foundation course, access and looking at practice management skills, so how the practice functions, the role of a practice manager, building on that little bit of leadership that you will have done within the foundation, and then really sort of supporting you to focus on some quality improvement. And that might just be a small quality improvement within the practice, and it might be within your practice, but it might be across a couple of practices as you sort of build that relationship and that network with those other fellow students. And the next one is you will have access to mentoring and supervision. There's also 6 hours of coaching, specific coaching built in for the individuals on the fellowship course, and always peer support. There'll be an expected PCN portfolio project to complete, and this will be sort of some integrated working across your PCN. And I suppose I didn't mention that, as well as getting to know your practice, you will be getting to know the role of a PCN, the function of a PCN, where practices fit in within the PCN, and how you in your role can support other nurses within PCNs. And hopefully, this is a real sort of food for thought about career development, because in PCNs there are nurses that sit on PCN boards. Next slide, Hayley, please. So why should you enrol on these programmes? Well, I really hope that I've given you some food for thought about the programmes. So an opportunity for every newly qualified or new returning to practice, or just a practice nurse that's wanting to refresh and upskill. The programme, entirely suits all of those. It will build your confidence, and it will help you to be a more confident general practice nurse working in delivering primary care services. It's giving you some protected time for learning and development, and it does guarantee a level of support through your journey along in primary care. And I think the next slide is any questions. Oh, how to apply. Sorry. So how to apply, all the information is there. Just drop us a line to either of those email addresses, and we can send you an expression of interest form for you to look at. And as I say, I'm Louise Thornton. I'm the clinical lead and the lead in the Greater Manchester Training Hub for these 2 programmes. But Hayley has been moving the slides along with me, and then a colleague, Sam Howard, is also supporting the programme. And I think it isn't any questions. Next slide. Oh, it isn't, because we haven't put that slide in. So any questions?
There is a question actually, Louise, in the chat. Do these programmes align to the draft NMC changes of accreditation for GPN nurses?
So both programmes, so we're working with our commissioners in GN at looking at getting both the programmes accredited. So one will accredit to a certificate and one will accredit to a diploma, and we're just in the process of doing that mapping exercise with our colleagues at Salford University.
That was the only question actually that was in the chat. I don't know in terms of individuals that we've got on the on the call whether there's any newly qualified nurses or new to primary care. If you wanted to pop your hand up so that we know. Thank you, Emily and Amy. Oh, okay, so got a couple of people that are newly qualified or new to primary care. Is this of interest to you then? Do you think this is something that you want to go back and discuss with your employer?
Could I just say, if I'm not speaking out of turn, there's actually there's quite a few of us that are actually on the GPN programme now, and we've all been put in this chat.
Oh.
So it's nice to see you all, but it wasn't what we were expecting. But yeah, we are enjoying the course, just as a bit of feedback. So thanks very much.
Okay.
It's good you're enjoying the course, and I'm sorry you've not got to the chat that you wanted to go to. I mean, please bear with us. This is the first time that we've done it with such a huge number of people, so definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, soaked it up. Thanks very much.
I mean, I would welcome any, if it's okay to ask, Kerry, any feedback from those that are on the course? I know you've just said that you're enjoying it, but is there anything that you thought would be included that isn't included?
So are we on session 3 now? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but so we've had the external speaker on for COPD and asthma, which we all really enjoyed, and it was lovely having someone that was so enthusiastic about their topic, teaching us and linking what the first session about resilience. I think it's really made us appreciate just what our mentors in practice, the challenges that they've had, and they're trying their best to train us in very difficult circumstances. So it's invaluable, this course. I think it's really important. So
thank you. I'm just going to ask that. I'm presuming that was the sessions that Tracy Kirk has delivered.
That's correct. Sorry, I couldn't think of a name. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I think we've got another hand up. I can just see a surname that says Payne. So apologies, I don't know what your first name is. I can't see it on my screen.
I think it might be an old hand. I think.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think.
Sorry, I can't take it down. One sec. Sorry.
Okay, is it Emma? I can't see
is,
your first name. It doesn't show. Oh yeah, it has come up now. Apologies, Emma, for calling you Payne.
Oh no, it's okay. Sorry, it's probably me.
The slides will be shared as well as part of today's session. So to answer your question, Kath.
Is there anybody on that is newly qualified and who is currently on the foundation programme? Because I have tried to contact newly qualified who would fit into the criteria to continue on to continue with the fellowship programme, and I've really struggled. So I don't know whether anybody's on. I've tried to contact practice managers and I've tried to email individuals. So I don't know if anybody's on who I may have tried to contact. And no,
I think there are a couple of newly qualifieds on our course. I'm not one of them. Yeah, but yeah, there's about 3 of them, I think, if I remember right.
What's your thoughts? Obviously fitting into the foundation criteria. What are your thoughts about the fellowship programme for newly qualified nurses?
Me personally, or anybody?
Just a question to all, really, because
I'll let someone else speak. Then I'll remain.
I think we're acutely aware that you nurses that are returning to practice or new to practice are just as valuable, but unfortunately the fellowship is only open to nurses that have qualified in the last 12 months, which I don't know what your thoughts are on that. No thoughts. That's fine. Oh, Kath, go on.
Hi, I'm not newly qualified, obviously. I'm a little bit long in the tooth, but From my point of view, I just think that the fellowship is fabulous because we've just got to promote GPNs across the board. And I know when I did my nurse training, it was just nowhere in sight. So I just think it's fantastic that we're doing this now. And I'm really keen to get as much information about it as I can through to our PCNs now, and hence that's why I'm on the call today.
That's great to hear, Kath, because I'm also trying in the area that I cover, which is Salford and Trafford, trying to get into the majority of the PCN meetings to really sort of give them the information that I've just given you, and the chance for them to ask me any questions. So
Louise, there is a question in the chat. When will the programme outline be published? I think that's for the fellowship actually, because the foundation is available, isn't it? So I think that's around the fellowship question.
Yeah, I think I need to say that obviously I think we've agreed to share it wider with our commissioners within the next week or so. So I think, what are we now? We're towards the end of July. So I think mid-August that needs to be published for everybody to be able to see. We do have a draft handbook that did go around the Nurse Collaborative. So there has been some information out there that just gives you a little bit more detail about months 7 to 24 and what's included in there. What I didn't add in, I did mention about the coaching, and I mentioned about the quality improvement and the support. I don't think I mentioned about the support from our colleagues at Aqua, but also there is the opportunity to access the online NHS Leadership Academy Edward Jenner course whilst you're going through the fellowship programme as well, which wasn't on the slide, but that's another part of it. And we have used the primary care knowledge podcast people, is that what they're called, Kerry? No. Yeah, and they are producing podcasts for us. We have got 2 for the start of the programme, but we have got several podcasts that they're going to produce for us for the fellowship programme, but they are online and anybody can listen to the podcasts that the primary knowledge.
Primary care knowledge piece, there's quite a lot of them actually, so I'll have a quick Google and pop it into the chat. There's all sorts in there, and they really are a really great resource. So I'll put.
I suppose the other thing as well that's perhaps worth mentioning is, again, it's been a conversation with our commissioners about developing some ambassadors, definitely for the fellowship programme, but I don't think there's any reason, knowing that we've had a pilot cohort go through the programme and we're now on cohorts 2, 3 and 4, that if people were interested within those cohorts to be ambassadors for the foundation programme, I don't think there's any reason why we can't support people being ambassadors and feeling confident to talk about the programme in their own career pathways. So I suppose whilst we've got this time, is there any questions about anything? How long are we in breakout rooms for, Kerry? Do you know?
I think it's 25
past.
Yeah.
So there's about 6 minutes of discussion time remaining.
Or you could go and make a quick cup of tea and stretch your legs.
Yeah, should we have thumbs up for that? Is everybody happy with that? Thanks, Emily. Thanks.
So if you want, we can keep the recording going, and then actually yeah, I was just going to say, if there's anything in the chat, maybe if your camera isn't already turned off, you want to turn your camera off and put your mute button on, you will automatically be directed to the main room at 25 past. So quick, go and stand up and move around and get a glass of water. Thank you, everybody, for
Yeah,
attending.
thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks.
Thank you.